Hey CJ, welcome back to Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. So in the last episode we saw this person off in the distance. He's going to give us a quest, so let's go ahead and take care of that now. Apprentice, your arrival here is well timed. Who are you, and what do you want? I am Baluk, a Jedi from the Enclave. I was sent by the Jedi Council to investigate a killing that took place here a few hours ago. Communication does not pose a problem, as both the suspects and I speak Basic and Huttese. Why aren't you speaking Basic? I was going to handle this case myself, but now you are here, we could be an excellent opportunity for you to demonstrate how well you've been learning your lessons at the Academy. So I guess he speaks Huttese and they speak Basic, but they can understand each other. Though you are not yet a full Jedi, perhaps you could assist me in sorting out the truth from the lies. Sure, what do you want me to do? This is the story given by the two suspects. I brought an information retrieval droid with access to the archives, both at the Jedi Enclave and the planetary capital. I'll use my wisdom and experience to offer you some guidance, but I will not solve the case for you. There is little benefit if you do not solve the problem yourself. Basically, you're too lazy, you want me to do all your work. Got it. Consider each man's account and check the facts with the information droid. Once you've gathered all the evidence you think you need, run the possible scenario with me. If you're unable to come up with a satisfactory resolution, I will take these men to the Enclave and deal with this myself. Or let someone else do it for you, basically. Right. According to the accounts of the participants, these three men were out here in the field together earlier before the clouds broke. I find that very odd, for most people would seek shelter indoors when the sky is filled with dark storm clouds, as it was earlier today. That is not the most puzzling aspect of the case. The dead man, Kaldor Netik, was shot in the back with a blaster rifle. A rifle was found lying near his body with bloodstains on it. It has been sent back to the Enclave for analysis. Two other men were found at the scene when I arrived. One was Handin Gold. He was unarmed. The other was Richard Lossoff, who was carrying a hunting laser. Both men say they did not do anything and they came across the body, but both also accuse the other. Obviously, there is more to this than what they have been told. What we have been told. Is there anything else I should know? There was one last thing. When I arrived, Handin was holding his side and Richard was favoring one of his legs. We do well to remember this as we progress through the case. If there's anything else you need, I will remain here while you question the witnesses. Alright, let's start with this guy.
Another Jedi, huh? Helping that Twi'lek investigate, no doubt. He seems stumped. I'm Richard Lossoff. Maybe you can figure this out and let me get out of here.
Yeah, he does seem stumped.
Well, I was out hunting Iriaz when I spotted one over here by the bridge. I pull out my rifle and aim at it. I couldn't see it that well, mind you, because the damn sun was in my eyes. So I shoot it and it drops.
Actually, it was cloudy, but we're gonna ignore that.
Here and find Handin standing over Calder's body. So why don't you get this whole farce over with and send that whiner Handin to the prison he belongs in?
Okay, we could also test him for drugs, maybe? No? Okay. Guess we don't worry about that.
Ah, greetings. You must be assisting Master Baluk in his investigation. I'm Handin Gould. Perhaps you've heard of me?
Could I have?
I guess under the circumstances, no. Well, I presume you wish to hear my story then. I shall tell you, of course, but there's not much to it. I'm sure that you'll agree that Richard is quite obviously guilty of murder. You see, I was out here running earlier today. Yes, running. I do that a lot. Can't stand speeders, never use them. Keeps me in shape, too, you know. Anyway, I was out running on the other side of that bridge there, and all of a sudden I heard a shot coming from over here. I ran over and found this man Calder lying on the ground, dead.
Did you see the killer?
And I saw Richard come skulking out of the shadows of the rocks south of the river. And I knew something was wrong. I hit my emergency button and called the Enclave right away. Well, there. That's my story. Now, please hurry this up and arrest Richard so I can get on with my day.
Okay.
Greetings, apprentice. You must be the one Master Baluk has enlisted to help him with this problem. I am an information retrieval droid. I can assist you by accessing the records of both the Jedi Enclave and the central government facilities here on Dantooine. If you have any need of my services, please do not hesitate to talk to me. I have already retrieved some information from the archives on Galactic, Ricard Lusov, and Handon Gould. I have also had time to examine the body of Mr. Netic. Is there any information you require?
What did you find out about the body?
My preliminary analysis of the body indicates that he was killed approximately 3 hours ago by a single energy blast to the torso. Is there any other information you need?
That's very unhelpful. About the planes? I don't think that's really relevant.
These plains are rife with wild animals, not all of them benign. The Irias are mostly docile, but can easily be provoked to violence. Calf hounds, on the other hand,
Have you ever
are
encountered
much
the
more deadly.
Irias?
There have been over 35 cattle
Those are the creatures in the,
settlers by calf hounds in the
cave.
last 2 weeks. A general advisory was given out 3 days ago to carry a weapon at all times when on the plains. Small farms and holdings dot the plains and can provide safe refuge for those in need. Is there any other information you need? Very well. I will be here to assist you.
Alright, can we ask him any more
How
questions?
can I be of further...
Holding your side, are you injured?
Injured? No, of course not. Why would I have been? Fit as a bathtub. I run. I don't know if I mentioned that.
Ask you something else.
How can I be of further...
Why are you out here?
I was taking my daily constitutional. I just happened to be running by when I heard a shot. I ran over and found Calder's body lying there.
How often do you run around these plains?
Yes, quite often. I generally prefer running to anything else. Can't stand speeders. A healthy body will breed a healthy mind, as I always say. Of course, of course. Listen, if you need anything, I shall be glad to assist.
Ask him.
So, what do you want to know?
Why were you out here?
I told you already, didn't I? Was hunting some Irias. Haven't seen many in the area recently, what with those cat hounds acting up. But they're still around. Was in my blind a little south of here when I spotted one, like I said before. I shot, pow, went down. But when I come over here, there's Handon standing over the body and the Irias was gone. Now, I don't have nothing to do with this, so can I go now?
I mean, from... Okay. Not just yet.
So,
Are you hurt?
well, I kind of sprained my ankle running through the bush before I found the body, but it's nothing that serious. Right.
Alright, let's talk to this guy. Want to discuss the murder. Start at the beginning. If we find the truth behind each piece of the puzzle, no doubt resolve the case. Adden said he was nearby and heard a shot and ran over only to find Calder already dead. He said Richard came out of the shadow of the rocks holding his blaster in his hands. He said he was hunting Irias, saw one with the son and shot it. Okay, yeah. It's possible that Richard may have shot Calder accidentally and Handon may have found the body. That seems very unlikely explanation. It is more likely that at least one of them is lying. Obviously one of these men's not telling us the truth. But where does the truth lie? Well, Handon's obviously lying. God, people always lying though. Really none of these are what I like, but we'll go with the... It didn't mention the weapon found by the body. We didn't mention it, but it didn't deny that it was there either, simply not bearing to the question asked. Yeah, I didn't really like any of the options. I believe that it's definitive evidence. I'll continue my investigation. Or what if we just say the other person's lying? So we said Handon, let's say Richard. Okay, there it is. There's the, he's being rude to me. It's cloudy, there's no sun to glare. I mean, I could have broken in that one area, but I guess not.
Jumalita kutotun. Chilamulane
Welcome to the cloud.
nindupo. Wonga kumbisjang ba mulira. Ta kunjus takmiki.
Seems I was correct in assuming you can help me with this case. This lie doesn't prove he's guilty, but I think you have taken the first step to unraveling this mystery. Now proceed to the next point. We need to find a motive for the killing. Maybe you should talk to the men about their relationship with the victim. Alright.
So, what do you want to...
Did you know?
Yeah, I knew him. Hell, we've known each other for a good long time. Doesn't mean I really have to have liked the slime ball. Maybe I shouldn't be so hard on him. Especially now that he's dead. We actually got along pretty well most of the time. We just had our differences. We were actually business partners. We were involved in some orbit-to-ground transport operations for Aerotech. Could I leave now? I should probably be the one to give the news to his wife.
That's something else. You know why someone would wants him killed?
Jedi are so predictable, always seeing some greater purpose behind everything, when the simple answer is usually the right one. Can't you see that it must have been Handon? I found him standing over the damned body. I don't know why this is causing you so much trouble. You almost seem as lost as this Baluk guy.
That's all for
Right.
now. Let's talk to this guy over here.
How can I be of further assistance?
How Candace and Carth are just staring awkwardly at me. Really close. Did you know the victim?
I knew him a little bit, but I was not any sort of great friend to him or anything. I never really associated with him that much. In truth, I didn't really want to. He had a reputation. Very inconsiderate of family, I heard. But merely having heard unkind things about someone wouldn't make me want to kill him.
No one says you killed him yet.
I'm sorry, I'm getting a bit agitated. Why must we remain here? Can't you see that Rickard must have shot him?
I mean, yeah, the evidence does point to that.
How can I be of further...
How would someone want to kill him?
Well, you see, Calder was involved in some pretty sordid business from time to time. More often than not, I've heard. Disreputable business practices, even more disreputable clients. I've even heard he had dealings with a hut. A hut here on Dantooine.
I mean, they're not necessarily all bad
I
people.
bet you're wondering if
I think there's a Jedi
had any
once.
reasons to kill the man, but I tell you, I hardly knew him. I saw him once or twice, yes, and I've heard some pretty unkind things about him, but certainly nothing that would make me want to kill him.
Is the internet been invented? Anyway, that's all for now.
Of course.
Is there any other?
Can you tell me about Caldern and Handon?
The Southwood Speeder rental business has records that over the past several weeks, a speeder had been rented by Mr. Nettic and Mr. Gould. Is there any other information you need?
Not that helpful. What about Calder and Richard?
According to the municipal authorities near the Garang spaceport, there had been news of violent drunken activity in a cantina attached to the port. Apparently, a Mr. R. Lusoff was making accusations at a Mr. C. Nettic about cheating him in a business deal. Jedi Tuka was dispatched to the scene and restored order. Is there any other information you need?
Nope, that's all for now.
Very well.
So, what do you want?
You thought he was cheating you.
Now, I don't love Calder, but we go back a long way. We run a suborbital shipping and transport company out of Garang Spaceport. We've been partners in that business for well over 20 years, and we've been doing just fine the way we are.
There's bad blood between you.
Right.
Well. There you go.
So,
So I guess all the evidence points to him. We didn't really find a motive for him, though.
How can I be of further...
You rented a speeder with him.
But I realize this must seem like a motive to you, but I assure you it isn't. I dislike Calder, true. I would punch his face in given the opportunity, but I would not kill him.
Punch his face in? Why?
My wife was cheating on me with him. I slept in my own bed while I was in the next room. But, as much as I may hate him for that, I could not kill him. It may have been my own fault for driving my wife away. I must try not to take the law into my own hands. I was just out
Not really
running,
the law
trying to
either.
clear my head for the divorce proceedings, not stalking him to kill him. Running is not a crime.
That's all for now.
Of course.
Let's discuss the murder. Alright, so we know Richard lied about the sun blinding him while he's shooting. And we need more to go on. Let's examine the relationship of each man to the victims. And it told me he barely knew the victim. On the other hand, Richard and the victim were business partners. According to Richard, they got along quite well. On the surface, neither man seemed to have a motive for killing Cauldron. I always forget who's who. It's, Handon? He knew his wife was cheating on him. Well, that is certainly a motive for murder. This case is taking shape, however, you mustn't jump to any conclusions. Perhaps we should focus on the murder weapon itself. I want to see what information the witnesses in the information droid can provide you about the blaster near the body. Anything else you need, I'll remain here. Okay. So,
How can I be of
Handon?
further assistance?
What do you know about the weapon?
That blaster was stolen from my house last week. I never knew what happened to it. I hardly have enough money to afford a single blaster, let alone another. I can't tell you how important it is to have a weapon on hand with all these ravenous cath hounds around. Even an Iriaz can take a man down if it gets in the mood. Every settler has a weapon. It's our most prized possession. I would most appreciate it if I could have that back after you determine that Rickard is the killer. How can I be of further assistance?
So you lost it a week ago, but you chose to go out running without it anyways.
Of course.
Is there any other information you need?
There's a report about his blaster being stolen.
I am sorry, but I seem to be failing you. I have searched and searched, but I cannot seem to come up with anything at all. I thought to find the record of the missing weapon report Mr. Gould filed with the authorities, but there does not seem to be one. Is there any other... We cannot get any more specific analysis from that sample, other than the fact it did not belong to Calder. Is there any...
Alright. So we know that he's lying about the blaster.
How can I be of further...
I said we can ask him about it
So,
too.
what do you...
What do you know about the weapon?
That blaster? Never seen it before. Calder himself had a preference for Ichani weaponry. He had this one really nice light blaster rifle that he always used. Always wished I could get myself a rifle like the one he had.
Ichanis make delicate weapons with too little firepower. Lightweight stuff, if you ask me.
That blaster ain't it, though. Calder only had the one rifle, too, so he either must have borrowed that, or it's someone else's.
Okay.
Right.
You're actually helpful that time. So Handon over here is lying. That's a murder. Blaster's Handon's, he lied about it being stolen. The comment a lie, interesting. But we may have one final piece of the puzzle. There's a blood sample on the weapon that has been sent back for analysis before we arrive. Perhaps we can inquire from the information droid about it. Alright.
Is there any other...
Tell me about the blood sample.
I have just received back an analysis of a sample of the blood found on the weapon. It had been sent back to the enclave just before you arrived. The blood on the weapon is definitely not Calder's. Unfortunately, there was a bacterial contaminant in the sample that had been taken back to the laboratory, and it had become degraded. We cannot get any more specific analysis from that sample other than the fact it did not belong to Calder. Is there any...
Okay.
Very well.
So both men are
what do you
injured.
want?
But the limp doesn't... Not really an explanation for his limp as far as I know.
Well, I kind of sprained my ankle running through the... Right.
How can I be of further...
Are you injured?
Injured? Of course.
Okay, I already asked him about that. So let's talk to... this guy. Just a murder. Didn't belong to the victim. That's surprising. So the blood must belong to one of the suspects, but which one? Handon. clutching aside. Hendon's been moving oddly ever since our arrival. Perhaps I should examine a little more closely. Just aside, though.
Hey, what are you doing?
There's blood. Hendon appears to have been suffered some sort of blaster wound to his side. It seemed there's only one logical scenario. Hendon killed Calder for having an affair with his wife. Richard was out hunting and accidentally shot Hendon after he had killed Calder. No, they're both guilty. A bold conclusion, one most people would not arrive at. But we are not like most people. We are Jedi. Still, I would like to know how you came to this conclusion. He was having an affair with his wife. What possible motive could Richard have for wanting Calder dead? He was also having an affair. No. He thought Calder was cheating him in the business. Yes, very well. Both men had a reason to want Calder dead. This is my theory of this morning events. Both men knew Calder would be out here this morning and each plotted to kill him. Hendon found him first. He shot him because of the affair Calder was having with his wife. Shortly after that, Richard arrived on the scene. From a distance, Hendon thought it was Calder, so he shot him in retaliation for the credits. Calder had cheated him out of their business. I mean, we don't really draw that connection that well, but I guess it's there. Hendon would have dropped his blaster, the one found at the scene covered in blood. He probably thought Richard was going to kill him, so he called us hoping it convinced us it was Richard.
Damn you. Damn both of you.
That is enough. The culpability of both of you in the murder and attempted murder, Caldernak is evident. Additionally, Richard Lossoff can be charged with aggravated assault and attempted murder on Hendon Galt, even though he's already dead at the time, so is it really... Oh, okay, yeah, it's the other guy. Basically, both under arrest of the Jedi Order, and we'll escort you to the holding facility in the Enclave, which I don't see, but I guess it's somewhere. You've done well here. It is obvious you have been studying your lessons carefully. I'll be sure to inform the Council of your performance in this little test. I mean, does it really reflect my ability, or just, like, problem solving?
You did good. You might just make a proper Jedi yet. Who knows?
Good day, may the Force be with you. Yeah, it's the most obvious scenario, unless, Richard is hallucinating. Alright. That's basically the entire episode. Let's go spot those Mandalorians, and that'll prepare us for the next episode. I guess we can do a little combat. I think that's the Mandalorian. Oh, they're not here. Oh yeah, there they are. Alright. I'll take care of these Scav Hounds, and what a day after that. Love the enthusiasm, Kendris. There we go.
Time to rumble.
Excellent. 1 point of damage. And then the next episode, we'll finally confront the Mandalorians. If you want to see how that turns out, stay tuned for the next episode. And then immediately after that, we'll head over to Johanni and convince her to rejoin the Jedi. If you like this episode, stay tuned for the next one. I'm TJ, and I'll see you next time.